Hello and a warm welcome to Her Voice here on Open Pali. My name is Lynette Manzini. Thank you very much for joining us today. In this program, we bring female politicians with the sole reason to understand the challenges that they go in, the challenges that they face in the political terrain, how they overcome these challenges, what support they require, and the recommendations they are proffering. In today's episode, I am joined by the Chikanga MP, Lynette Karenyi. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Lynette. How are you doing?
I am so excited to be interviewing another Lynette. Already, I want to get into politics.
You have to.
Yeah, so let's get right into it. You have been a politician. This is your second term in parliament. I know there were some recalls that happened earlier on, but I just want you to talk to us about the kind of violence you have experienced. Why I have selected this today is a number of researchers conducted here in Zimbabwe and other countries, talk about how women end up not participating in politics because of violence. We want to just find out whether you have experienced violence as a female legislator, as a female politician in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, thank you very much for bringing up this important discussion. For sure, I've received several violences in terms of physical abuse, even mental abuse. Sometimes people don't even talk about it, but I strongly feel that sometimes those emotions, they will not go anywhere. It will continue to hound you. It will continue to go a long way. So I strongly feel that we get different types of violence. So on my side, I think physical violence, even cyberbullying, online, even in different platforms. So we received the physical, even that violence where you end up in prison. I have experienced that.
Talk to us about the physical violence you are talking about, because I don't want to imagine things. Because when I hear physical, I see button sticks. I see people kicking you. What exactly have you experienced?
I have experienced those button sticks because remember I joined politics in 1999. So during that time, it wasn't easy. You could even go, I remember very well in 2002, where we were doing this final push, where we were also demonstrating against the arrest of Morgan Richard Trangirai. We were beaten by button sticks. And at the end, we ended up in remand prison. Even in parliament, I received, I don't know what to call it, but the hassle and this kind of trying to struggle you out of parliament, purely it's physical violence.
Physical violence.
Yeah.
And before I wanted to go to the kind of toll it has taken upon you, but I want to talk about your family. When they found out that you had been beaten during that demonstration and you were arrested, this violence does not only affect you, it now affects other people. How did your family take it?
It wasn't easy for me because remember when I started politics in 1999, I had 2 children. So the third born I gave birth in 2003. So obviously it was a journey. So they were still young. I remember very well when I contested in 2003 to be a councillor in Ward 16 in Chikanga. They used to come, the ZANU-PF people used to come throwing stones at my house, singing, dancing, that kind of intimidation. And my children were very young. I remember very well my son used to run to go and hide behind our houses. And this little one was very, very young. She could cry when these people used to sing. In some of the songs she used to say after some time, Mama, they were singing, Janu ya uyame mwana, Janu ya, and she was very young. To an extent that in 2007, I even went to South Africa to hide. And I think I took about 6 to 7 months there. And I forced myself to come back because I was crying each and every day to think about my little one. So as for the family, it wasn't easy. They could even say, Mama, why don't you just quit? And you know, if you've got something in you, it will keep you going. My brothers, they used to give me a lot of support. I've got 6 brothers and I'm the only girl in my family.
Are you the firstborn by any
I'm
chance?
the second born. So they used to support me, zvisingamboiti. And my mom used also to support me. But at first, she was very, very afraid. She'd go kuzvirega zvinei nhai mwanangu. Then I say, Mama, let me just push.
You know, as this gives me, you know, goosebumps, you just speaking. And, you know, you are a young mother and these, I don't know whether to call them hooligans, are coming to your home and singing and intimidating you. Your children go into hiding, but you remain steadfast. And, you know, you said, no, this is the struggle I'm in. I'm going to continue representing my constituency. Where did you get this, should I call it power, the resilience?
No, I don't think it's about power, but I think it's about calling. It's more like a pastoral work. If you have started it, you cannot quit. So politics is more like a calling. You feel something inside you. You just imagine those who went to war. Zvakaitika for them to go. So it's something in you. So it keeps you going. It keeps you moving. And I always say to the young women to say, giving up is not even an option. You have started it, so you have to finish it. So I used to ask myself, why did I join politics? I joined politics because I wanted something better than what I was getting and what I'm also getting. So the thing is, I will ask whether the human rights abuses is rapid. Do not asati. I talk about the girls' rights, vana, the hospitals, do we have medication? So there's nothing like that to say, right. So until everything is now saying, right, then I'll say, at least ndamanya chimuti changu. But also, we are growing up. It's not going to be like giving up, but you'll still be there giving advices and the like, because it will be in you.
Certainly, you have to mentor the younger ones as well who are upcoming.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yes, so we have spoken about the physical violence. I want us to come to online violence because we have been, the use of social media is very huge right now. Online platforms. And I have come across, some tweets that I think are not fair. Everyone has their opinion. But what about the person? How do you feel when people attack you online? And sometimes do you think it's justified? One of the questions that comes into mind is, especially when you make a decision to say, I'm staying put, I'm not leaving parliament because the president of the party that sponsored you had resigned and you stayed in parliament, but then you received attacks online.
With that one, I don't want to go too much on it because it has got so many things to talk about. But the issue is, after the resignation, he didn't say anyone get out of parliament. So it was in different ways of how are you taking it. And to me, I even consulted my constituency. We had a consultative meeting and we were talking the pros and cons about it. So it was not just because I just wanted to be in parliament. And as for me, people would say, Variko, because of money. Then I would say, no, it's not because of money. Because I was in parliament before. I was recalled in parliament. If I didn't want to be recalled, I was going to stay in parliament. But it was because of the values and principles. So when I was recalled, I went home. I did not stop. I continued to support my party and also to support our people. So these kind of insults, they were coming all over the place. But it wasn't because I didn't have things to talk about. It wasn't because I couldn't even defend myself. I had so many things to defend myself. But sometimes silence is God. Sometimes you think it's better for me to keep quiet because if I open up, even worse. So I decided to keep quiet. Within the political space.
Okay. I want us to leave that case because we might talk about it on another. But because here we're talking about violence. In the past, did you experience online violence, or it's something that's...
Yeah, I did. I did. You know, even internal, normally when you go for the primaries and when normally you go for the congresses, you get a lot of insults because you'll be contesting each other, remember? I remember very well when I was going for the chairperson for the Assembly of Women, vanhu vanotaura zvavanoda. Even in the, when we contested for the vice president, zvaingotaurika zvakawanda. You know, the issues in politics, especially internal politics, are even worse than the external, because you'll be dealing with people who are also fighting for the position and they have got so many things to talk about you,
and they know you very well.
And they know you very well, and they know how to say those kind of insults. And kazhinji kacho vanenge vachida kuti ungoramwa. So that's the tactic, kungoita kusvibisana. That's the word we use in politics, kuti kungozorana madhaka. And iwo wacho ukatotya unotofungidzira kuregedza. Because when I was contesting for the vice president, there was a time I even said, no, let me just step down. But you know, people will be behind you and say, no, you cannot. You must continue to push. So the issue of cyberbullying, the issue of insults there, akawandisa. And if you check, I was not even responding to them. But it doesn't mean I don't have something to say.
So in case you're just joining us, you are tuned into Her Voice here on Open Pali. My name is Lynette Manzini, and I'm here in the studio with Chikanga, Member of Parliament Lynette Kore. You have two Lynettes in the studio today, having a conversation about violence. We want to find out the kind of violence she has experienced as a female politician, and how this has affected her family, and her political participation. And back to you, Honorable. It is your right to participate in politics, but you continue to face you know, these different kinds of violence. We spoke about physical, we spoke about online, and then you said that it also affects you psychologically, mentally. How much has this been a toll on your participation as a Zimbabwean?
No, I can say, you know, when you receive this kind of insults and this kind of online insults, I can say, if I want to rate it, I think for these past few months, it was too much. I've never experienced it. I think this is my first time. And my children even got to a situation to say, Mama, I think enough is enough. Madi marega. We have never benefited anything from you. If it is something, people are benefiting from your own sweat. So emotionally, zvakambonda affect, and my mental health, you know, it was just because I'm a person and know that kuenda kuchurch hysteric. If it wasn't like that, I don't think I was going to sustain it. Because, you know, sometimes you ask yourself, zvimwe zvacho unozviwana from the people waunofungidzira kuti these are the people andinofungidzira kuti if it is doing the work, I have tried my best. If it is working for them, I think I tried. But why are they doing that? They know this is wrong. They know I didn't even do this. Why are they quiet? So you ask yourself and say, to them, I think it's an advantage because people will be following vachifungidzira kuti ndochokwadi. But inside them, they know that this is wrong. This woman hambosviki level iroro. But vanoramba vakanyarara. So nebasa raunenge uchiita, sometimes you think kuti regedza ndizvisiye, but people behind you will be pushing you to say, we voted for you in Chikanga. So if you are saying you have to get out of politics, what are we going to do? And besides that, are we also going to trust you? Kuti next time if you come and ask for a vote, we'll also put trust in you. So it was like a situation inotirwadzei ichiaffecta your social life, ichiaffecta your private life, ichiaffecta everything around you, including waunoti they are so close. In this time, affected my mom. My mom is a heart, vane problem heart and a BP patient. It affected her so much to an extent yekuti waizopesera wakuvatorera phone wadelete all the chats muma groups and everything, but she will end up vangopinda futi those groups. So politics is not easy, but the issue is hapana takatodzida, we have to face it. Vanongodzorera vachidzorera bhora back.
And what, we've got so many things to talk about and we're running out of time, but there's also some violence you have experienced. Maybe it wasn't targeted to you during a rally. After a rally, I remember you were in Kwekwe, someone was killed. I remember you were, I think, touring around the country as a team, as a political party, and you were attacked. In as much as you were with the others, is that any different to personal violence unleashed on you when, you know, it's unleashed on everyone else? Is there any difference?
There's no difference, but the difference may be sometimes it's more like if you are receiving it makawanda, you are more like collective. But when now they come to your house, you feel it's purely myself and my children. So especially zvikazoitika pauri wega kuvana, like last time when we were in Manicaland, when we were attacked with other groups, it wasn't easy because they came at my house. Vachijamba mageti, you know, and vana.
And when they jump, gate was waiter say?
No, they would jump, just jumping, vachikandidzira matombo, vachita say, pavazonzwa the siren, that day we takaita alarm, the faucet alarm. So after that siren, they jumped back and they flew. So chinozosara ipapo is more like fear. Because you are used to it and you just dress up and go to another rally the following day, but your mate and very around.
Exactly. But let's look at recommendations. There are young people watching this program, young people in universities, some who are not even, you know, the legal age to participate in politics, and they're saying, why doesn't she go home and let this go? What advice would you give to young people, especially in navigating the political terrain, you know, where violence is unleashed?
My advice is, as women, there's no option of saying, let's quit. Quitting is not an option. And giving up is not even an option. We just need to fight, because we know what we want to achieve. So I just advise them to be strong, to just be focusing, because the issue is violence is there. You receive it, sometimes it's not even yekurowa, but if you join, especially the young ones, vachasangana nana sexual harassment, they are there. So they are not supposed to say, why push around, then they agree to be pushed. Sometimes it's good, sometimes to take a breath, think, also listen to what people are saying and say, what can I do after this? Then you otosimuka, ototanga zvekufamba. So I advise kuti this is not an issue inoitwa nemunhu one. It involves everyone. It's just a mouth ekuti munhu wese, we must have this kind of participation yatinoti tese. All stakeholders must just come and say, let's fight for this. My NGOs, the middle class, because most of the middle class women are afraid for my businesses, my university and the like. But the issue is not about those vari kunze chete. It's also those who are in the middle class. It's also those who are in the NGOs. Because some of the people, they've got a technical background. If they come even in parliament, they can push all these policies. But the issue is they are afraid to say, tikauya tunozodi. But the issue is, if you come in numbers, obviously we'll fight against it. And people must speak out. The issue is people here in Zimbabwe, they're afraid to speak. So people must speak, because keeping quiet is also violence on its own, because ukasataura aripa next door anofila say. So we have to encourage these young women to say, come, let's unite and let's fight, and let's also come up with new policies. Maybe it's not kuita help madzimai kuti tiwande in terms of decision making processes. Yeah.
And do you think that as we're closing, the 60 seats, the extra 60 seats that were added by the constitutional amendment will help? Does this help women, especially because we're saying violence deters women from participating? Do you think those extra seats help women?
To be honest with you, partially, but not kuti we are benefiting a lot out of it. Because if you ask me, ndinongodzoka panzvimbo yekuti number one, inopromota issue kungovengana amongst ourselves, inongopromota issue yefavoritism, inongopromota issue yehierarchy, inongopromota the odd. And the new, especially when look at the new, is the young women. It's not easy for them to come because the issue is those who are in parliament or those who have benefited out of the 60 havachadi kubuda because to them it's more like easy parinyore. And to me, if I take you back in 2013, that 60 seats it was just from the group of 20 a pressure group to say we need affirmative action, we need to promote women. How are we going to increase women in parliament? And we were talking about 50-50. But at the end, Mongozi Varume, being Varume, they ended up vakutipa those 60. Vachiti ndo patinotangira. And uchiona 60 zacho hadzina kuiswa in the constitution for good. Dzakangoiswa sechigamba is 60 two terms dzobviswa dzodi. So to me hadzina kwadziri kutiendesa because ukaenda ukanotora ma-statistics before the 60 seats madzimai anga akatoti one day a first past the post. But right now they are going down. Reason iripo ndeyekuti number one, those who are in parliament vanofungidzira kuti inini ndikaona kuchikanga kwakundinetsa ndiri muhierarchy yeparty, I leave chikanga and go for the safe seat proportional. So the issue was not like that. The issue was if we promote you, Honorable Karenyi, for you to be a proportional representation, you go there and matowana something chekuti mukwanise kuuya in terms of capacity building mawaitwa capacitated, come now munotora the city first past the post, mosiya city riya totsvaga futi umwe munhu toramba tichidaro. But if you go vakapinda 2013, some are still there. 2018, they are still there. 2023, they are still there. They will also come back in 2028. So if people ask me, no, let's go back to that same constitution and say, if we want these 66 to continue, why don't we now put a clause to say, if you benefit 2 terms, I think it's enough. Shibva pa proportional representation, went now to the first past the post, you have benefited 2 terms. I think it's enough so that we also capacitate those few women varipanzi. Because if we were going to give them 2 terms, by now tadai number in parliament, because we will be now helping you, Lynette, to go and take another seat. We help you, you win there, then we also continue to do like that. So to me, honestly, it's not taking us anywhere.
It's not taking
unless if we go for 50-50. The 60 is good, we have got it. Tinepe kutangira, but let's not kutovara maziso tichiti we are okay. We are not okay. We have to get more.
Honorable, there's a form of violence I forgot to speak about, but just briefly, sextortion. We've heard that women, some women are asked to, exchange position with sexual favors with certain people within. How do you, I don't know whether you have experienced it or heard about it, but research has shown us that it's happening here in Zimbabwe. What do you advise younger people? How do they navigate that?
I strongly advise them. Politics, when you come, you face all these kind of things. Because there was a report which was done by whips in all the political parties, ZANU-PF, MDC by that time. So the reports are there, and women were also talking about it. So my advice to them is, when you come to politics, just be yourself. You don't need to ask for favors. Your work on the ground in terms of visibility, your work on the ground in terms of going out there, uchinosangana ni wanu, ndo zvinokureverera, not any other things. So for those young women, if you come, just Be yourself, enjoy your work, uchidzokera kuvanhu, just remain as iwewe sezvauri. Mafavors iwawo, yes, if you want you can go for them, but it will not last. It will not last because you will be just be used. Vakushandisa, what do they do next? Vanongokusiya wakadaro. So the issue is not about asking favors, but people must say, we want Lynette to be our MP because of A, B, C, D. Because ukazvibvumira, honestly, to be honest with you, auendi kure. You might get it for now, but it will not take you anywhere. But iwe ukatoziva kuti my body is special and I must be myself, they will ask for these favors uchiramba, and they will respect you for that. Kuti vanoti ko chakamboita sei kuchimwana ichi, then they will vote you because you are strong. So I don't even encourage them to say politics kuuya kunge wazikana nemashefu and the like. It's not about that, but it's about you neunhu hwako zvauri saizvozvo. People will love you and people will respect you and they will vote for you.
On that note, I'd like to thank you very much,
No, thank you very
Honorable,
much
for joining us in
Thank
today's
you.
conversation and showing us how strong you are and encourage. I'm already encouraged and inspired. Another Lynette getting into politics,
Yeah.
moving from journalism
Oh,
to
yeah.
politics.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much. So there you have it, viewers. That was the Chikanga MP legislator, Lynette Karenyi, and she was talking to us about violence and how it affects women in politics. But she's also advising young women out there who want to get into politics to continue to do the work. She says that if you continue working, your work will speak for itself, and you will not be asked to, to exchange positions with any sexual favors. Yes, we do face violence, but she says let's remain steadfast. Keep your eyes on the ball. Until next time, my name is Lynette Manzini. Goodbye.